What's good, Shark fans? So today we're discussing Wednesday night of Shark Week, all right? And the three new shows that appeared in all their glory. So those three shows are Expedition Unknown Shark Files, and that's with Josh Gates. Expedition X, also with Josh Gates, but this one is not really him doing the research, it's his team, right? And that's composed of Phil and Heather, and then there's a scientist that also tags along, which basically is the main reason why they're doing this study, which her name is Sandra. And then our third show is Alien Sharks, Death Down Under. And that one is with Forrest Gallant featuring Brian Fry. So let's get into it. The first show, Expedition Unknown Shark Files. This comes off as a history show, right? It's basically talking about a number of different occurrences that happen with sharks, right? Shark attacks, shark encounters, deadly, of course, and basically what went along with those specific encounters. Now, I will say this. I know that history for many people may not be your thing, but you can definitely appreciate the fact that this show doesn't speak about the common shark encounters that you may have already heard about. Like for me personally, right? I feel like I always hear about the USS Indianapolis, right? Granted, it is arguably, if not I believe it actually is the most deadly shark attack of all time. Now, of course, I'm saying that it wasn't just one shark attack. It was hundreds, if not thousands of sharks in the water, believed to be white tips, that picked off hundreds of sailors, right? But we hear about this all the time, right? It made a special appearance, basically being talked about in Jaws. It's referenced a lot in, various forms of media. But I've never heard about this shark attack. So this one was actually the HMS Birkenhead, right? So this was a ship that actually went down. This was well over, at this point, maybe 200 years ago. So it happened in the late 1800s, I believe, where 643 people were aboard this ship and only 193 made it out alive. 450 people died that day once that ship went down, right? That ship actually got caught on some rocks. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I want you to watch the show, but out of the 450 people, the majority of them are actually believed to have been killed by sharks, which is an insane amount of people, and is one of the deadliest encounters in history. And I've never heard about it, even as a shark person, as a shark scientist. So it was very interesting, and I really appreciated the fact that I learned something new from this show. So, excellent job. Now, I'm also going to give a shout out to Josh Gates, because Shark Week, you know what you're doing, all right? Shark Week is meant to be fun and engaging for everyone. And you guys basically made Josh Gates a regular, right? This is, I think, maybe his third year on the program, right? Having something there. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but he's a welcome addition. And he's been doing a fantastic job so far, right? Excuse me. Fantastic job. But, Josh Gates, welcome to the shark community. I believe you're one of us at this point. One of us. It's the truth, man. But welcome, man. You do a fantastic job. Now, going on to the second show, Expedition X, right? So it's Expedition X, Maupalo Monster Shark, right? In this show, you basically have Josh's team, which is Heather and Phil, and then your scientists, who are all trying to track down this shark, right? That the woman, the scientist, Sandra, actually got video footage of, right? And it's a very large shark, it's a large specimen, and they're trying to identify whether or not this is a new species or what, right? Now, throughout the show, they, of course, are giving their hypotheses on what it could be and whatnot. If you're a shark person, you know exactly what shark this is immediately. I'm sorry. Within the first video or picture that they showed of this animal, I knew what it was instantly. It wasn't even close. The only thing that I will say, though, not the only thing, but thing I will say is there was an interesting discovery about this shark at the end of the show. So it was definitely worth watching, right? But you knew, if you know sharks, you knew what this shark was instantly, right? Um, yeah. But I will say, this show actually had some of the most interesting uses for technology out of any of the shows in Shark Week so far. But it wasn't even like, it was almost downplayed. Like the technology aspect wasn't talked about much, but at the same time, it was like, whoa, you're doing what? Like that's dope. Like there's an AI revolution right now. They used AI to help identify species of sharks. That's amazing. And that's the proper use for AI, right? What else did they actually have? So AI identifier, the dive rover, the pilot tracker, like they even basically partnered with a person who developed a new type of tracker. Now it is very similar to some of the other trackers we've seen on Shark Week. However, it's just again, it's a welcome use of some current innovative technology, and that was dope. So I'm interested to see the footage that they get from that tracker, of course, and yeah, overall it was still an entertaining show. But again, if you're a shark person, you know what shark that is from the beginning. From the beginning. All right. Now, the last show. The last show was Alien Sharks Death Down Under. And this one featured Forrest Gallon. Now, Forrest is apparently trying to make a run for the title versus Paul DeGelder and just doing wild stuff. It's like, what was that? This guy basically made himself a test dummy because he didn't want to go through all the avenues of, getting approval for human trials and X, Y, and Z. So he just made himself the test dummy, which I respect. But it was like, I wasn't expecting this much excitement from Shark Week. And you guys, fantastic job. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And even though he wasn't trying to be, so they had a toxicologist, Brian Fry. This guy was comedic relief because he was trying to be informative, but he made everything funny because he has this like subtle sarcasm that just made the show like entertaining in a different way. But the thing that I really appreciated about this show is that it featured more than just the usual. If we're being honest, right? When you're for Shark Week, we hear about the same sharks all the time. Great whites, bull sharks, tiger sharks, hammerheads. That's probably the big four. If I throw in the fifth one, is probably going to be like reef sharks because we just see them all the time, right? We see nurse sharks all the time. White tips appear, black tips appear, mostly your Caribbean species, right? Or your warm water or tropical species. We see those. But this episode, Alien Sharks, I always appreciate because it shows me something that I either don't know or I'm not expecting to see. This show showed me wobbegongs, Port Jacksons, ghost sharks, which ghost sharks are technically not sharks, but yeah, ghost sharks, school sharks, sand tigers, which we've seen before, but sand tigers, and they also, they didn't even call it the sand tiger shark. That's what we call it here locally. But they give you the different versions of the scientific name. So, like gray nurse sharks, ragged tooth, like they tell you, which was really informative, and I appreciated that. I appreciated that a lot, right? Swell sharks, saw sharks, gummy sharks. Like it was just like, this is amazing. Like, give me more sharks. Over 550 species, and we only talk about maybe 6. Like, we need more diversity when it comes to our shark information, right? So that alone, I really, really appreciated, right? But I will also say, Forrest, you did a fantastic job. Like, Forrest is really engaged. You can tell that he's like really enthusiastic and in it. So this show is also definitely worth a watch. If I was to rate all of these shows, I would definitely go. So First one, Expedition Unknown Shark Files. Probably like a 7. Solid 7, right? History, a little slow, of course, the net, but it taught me something, and I really appreciated that. So a 7. The second show, Expedition X, Maupalo Monster Shark. I'm gonna give that show. I'm probably also gonna give it a 7. I do appreciate the use of technology. That was the best part, and the enthusiasm from Sandra was like tangible. You could feel it. But at the same time, there was no wonder for me because I knew what the shark was immediately. So there was that. And in the third show, Alien Sharks, I'm gonna give that one an 8.5, 8.5. Just highlighting other sharks. The again, Forrest and his wild antics. Like, the man hurt himself on purpose. Like, made himself the test dummy. He was the test subject. That alone deserves some high points. But all in all, this show was extremely entertaining. One, because of what Forrest brought to the table, but two, because you highlighted so many basically unsung heroes or unsung sharks that we just don't know or hear about. So for that, you get the high marks of the night. So I do believe that all of these shows were worth watching, but Death Down Under, Alien Sharks Death Down Under was, in my opinion, the best show tonight. All right, well, with that being said, keep on swimming, and I hope you enjoy your night. Let's see what the next night has to offer.